How's it, guys? This is Davey FPL and welcome back to another video. Don't worry, I know I'm super blurry. Let me just focus in there. Now you guys can see me better, so don't worry, you guys don't have to let me know that I'm super blurry. I saw it and I've corrected it, so let me know if now the audio and the video are looking Gucci, and then we can head on to all your questions. So I just had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but don't worry, we are back. And as Vincent is saying, hopefully, just like I made myself clearer, by the end of this live stream, your team and your thinking will be a lot clearer as well. So do appreciate you guys joining me on this Sunday, a bit of a weird one. Don't usually stream on a Sunday, so kind of adjusting to it. The schedule is all over the place. I kind of feel like it's Saturday, but it's not. It's Sunday. It's weird. I don't like it, but I'm hopefully going to be liking Game Week 19 as we hopefully will be getting Green Arrow. I've taken it back to the OG. We've got the chocolate milk. We haven't had it for the last live stream. We've got a red arrow. I needed to fix it. I need to get the good juju back. So I've gone OG and we do have the chocolate milk. So let me just get the stream set up here, bringing chat across. As you guys can see, just over 53 minutes left till that Game Week 19 deadline. And I'm hoping my team is going to look a little bit better as we do a live transfer. So I'm pretty sure we will be doing a live transfer. It's either a kind of Bruno Fernandes switch or it's going to be a Muniz in switch. I'm still a little bit undecided, but hopefully by the end of this, we will be looking at a little bit of a clearer FPL team. What I'm going to do in this video as well, or this live stream as well, is I'm going to kind of do an ultimate guide. So as always, we'll be going over the projected goals, projected clean sheets, and then also be creating a wildcard draft, because there are those of you out there, I know there's actually FPL managers out there that still have the wildcard chip. So maybe if you guys do have the wildcard, just give me an indication in chat right now. You can post a yes if you do have it. I don't really mind if you message no. I don't want to know if you guys don't have a wildcard, because it's the majority of us. And then we can head on to the actual team and all that good stuff. So we've had some early questions. FPL hits as usual, always the kind of earliest in the stream is saying, congrats on SA reaching the test kind of cup final. Thank you, do appreciate it. It was a pretty all over the place test, or at least the first one, but maybe the second one will be a bit better. What's your take on moving Jackson to Mateta/Solanke, or do you feel Jackson's a long-term hold? So I think Jackson's a hold hits. I would just kind of have him. I hope he plays. I'm not super sure, but I mean, there's a chance that he does, so I would just keep him. And also, you're saying Happy New Year. So Happy New Year to you too, brother. And then you've said bench 2 out of Robinson, Pedro, Semenyo, Cowell. I'd probably bench Semenyo. I'd bench Robinson. I'd just bench those 2 and then play. Again, I'd actually bench. You see, I would bench a defender in that case. So it's do you start Semenyo or Pedro? Yeah, I'd bench Semenyo and Robinson, to be honest. And Giroud saying, how's it? Also, as well as Fries No Shake saying play a Mud or João Pedro. I'd probably play João Pedro because of penalties. It's quite close between them. I think they're both blank, but João Pedro at least has some penalties. Vincent was saying, how's it? Biggest dilemma of 2024, please help start 3 of Wood, João Pedro, Semenyo, Cole, Lewis. I would go with Chris Wood. Who do Nottingham Forest even play? They play Everton. I'd go Chris Wood. I'd go João Pedro. And I'd go Cowell. Unless we get news about Lewis, then I'd probably play Lewis over Cowell. Molweni, Kylo, happy. Nice to see you as well. Kylo GG, thanks for joining. Sa or Mateta? I'd probably say Mateta. It just depends on who you're taking out, because most people kind of need a midfielder replacement Addy, and that's why Sa is probably the more favored option, but I think Mateta is probably the better FPL asset. Worth doing Enzo to Sa or Odegaard to Sa or roll? I wouldn't do Odegaard to Sa. I might do Enzo to Sa, but I probably would just roll this week and go with who you have. Or Gucci now, thank you. Looks and Sound and Invincible saying chocolate milk. Afternoon, Paulie. Who would you transfer Bruno for? I would either go Sa or Eze. I like those 2 selections, because if you're going to buy one this week, it's the fact that they have Southampton, and then even though they got Chelsea next week, the 3 after that are so good. So if I was to buy someone this week, it probably would be Sa or Eze. Abu saying good luck this week, my G. Bring Muniz in. Yeah, I'm pretty much looking at him because he actually is an attacker for Crystal Palace. He's just so forward at the moment. Currently starting Guardiola, Trent, and Muniz with Robinson Hall on the bench. Would you stick with that? Yeah, so Guardiola's, I mean, I think that's okay. I would play him against Leicester. Trent, no brainer, and Muniz, yeah, I'm going to start Muniz over Robinson if I bring him in. So I think that's okay. You've got a stacked defense though, Paulie. I won't lie to you. You might want to downgrade one of those in the future. But at the moment, I mean, unfortunately with that stacked defense, you're going to bench some points most weeks probably. But I think you've got it right there. Joe retracted his message. Couldn't even see it at the moment. Flecken replacements. Okay, so Flecken replacements. There's a few in terms of price range. I would say Alisson's my favorite because of the double game week coming up. If you guys don't know, Liverpool probably going to have a double around 24-25. So I would go for him. Second, I would go for a cheaper option like a Henderson. I think he's my current favorite cheaper option, or Pickford. So if you can go expensive, go Alisson. If you have to go cheaper, go Pickford, or I think Henderson. I'll take the punt on him probably at the moment. Haaland versus Salah captain. This, I was hoping someone didn't ask me this because this week, Haaland versus Salah is so tight. I know that Haaland has the bad form. I guess it depends on what's your risk appetite. I would say, I think Haaland's the better Campsy option this week, but it's do you risk it with going against Salah, because Salah's ownership is going to be so high. That's why I think it comes down to what's your risk appetite. If you want to take a punt, go for Haaland. I think it's a great kind of shout as a punt. But otherwise, if you want to play it safe, Salah's okay. Palmer, Salah for me is also pretty close, but I'd probably just go for Salah because I'm kind of covering the avenues with Enzo and Jackson, hopefully if they do start. So yeah, it's a very tough week for captaincy. I think between Salah, Palmer, I would probably go Salah, but between Haaland, Salah, I think it's closer. If you answered my question, I missed it because my internet cut out. No worries, Paulie. All I said to you was that I agree with your kind of placement. I also said that your defense is stacked. So just let me know if it broke out again. But yeah, I would stick with what you had, Paulie. Thoughts on Gordon? Plays 2 bad defenses in the next 2 and then some good home games. Yeah, Joe, I like Gordon. I think as a kind of Bruno replacement, he's also up there. I think he's kind of overtaken some of the other options because of his form. And as you've said, like after the next 2, which I agree that they could be a bit leaky. These games on paper though might be a little bit tougher. But then when we got Wolves, Bournemouth, Southampton, I mean those look pretty great. So I like Gordon as well. I just think between Gordon and Saar, it's probably closer because Gordon has the better form, is the better FPL asset, but then Saar and Eze have the better fixtures. So it's quite close between them. Actually, what I wanted to potentially look at is something that I think I'll just go over that potential move now when we look at my potential switches. Start both Trent and Alisson or start Leno? I'd start both of them, to be honest. I think that's okay. Start Rodgers or João Pedro? Probably go Rodgers. I think the home form of Aston Villa is better. Okay, let me just bring up these kind of projected numbers first before we get too carried away, because I've got actually a lot to talk about in this live stream. I'll be going over my move shortly. Let's just talk about these projected goals and clean sheets. So if you guys are having some dilemmas about who to start, this is probably a good place to reflect on. So for example, we had the start João Pedro versus Rodgers debate. You can see in terms of the projected goals, it's an easy one. Go for Rodgers, 1.8 compared to 1.33. We then have had some increases to Liverpool. They're now 2.65, Chelsea 2.5. And then we've got Man City and Erling Haaland obviously on 2.75, which is pretty high. In terms of the projected clean sheets, not really a standout game here. We do have Man City on 40%, which you probably would have expected to be higher, but just that Man City defensive form is not fantastic. And then we've got some closely contested games like Crystal Palace 38, Arsenal 38, Chelsea, Liverpool around the 34, 36 mark. Then we've had some drop-off, super boring game between Everton, Forest potentially. But yeah, clean sheets this week might be there, but not expecting a ton. And for myself, looking at a Muniz versus a Robinson, you can see higher projected goals as well as a high projected clean sheet chance. And that's why I would start Muniz over Robinson if you guys do have him. In terms of others, you guys can, I'll leave this up for now. This might help you answer a few questions. For example, should you play Mbeumo versus another player? Less than 1 projected goal for Brentford, so probably would bench him. And same maybe for Jared Bowen at 1.08. So if you guys need this, I'll leave it up. Hopefully it answers some questions. If your debate is super tight, just look at the projected goals and hopefully they will make your image or your decision a bit clearer. I just want to play some music. Sorry, I've been listening to absolutely nothing. I've been listening to myself just waffling along. Let me just get something started here. Cool. No worries, Joe. Thanks for the question. Siddharth is saying bench 2, Semenyo, Pedro, Robinson. I'd probably always bench the defender, so I'd bench Robinson. And then between Semenyo and Pedro, even though Bournemouth projected to score more goals, I would probably just go for Pedro because of the penalties. Taranga is saying thoughts on Odegaard. Also, Semenyo or Odegaard this week. Whom would you pick? If you're going to pick between those, I would go Odegaard. But I like him. I think he's an okay asset. I don't think he's kind of a world beater, but I think he'll tick along nicely over these better fixtures. But yeah, between Semenyo and Odegaard, I'd go Odegaard. Milenkovic being overlooked, Henry says. Probably because I haven't really considered him at all. I think the Nottingham Forest fixtures are okay. I think Everton, Wolves are probably clean sheet chances. Then they got Liverpool, which you might just bench them for. Then Southampton, they got some better fixtures coming up. I would probably say, though, they're okay. Short-term, Everton, Wolves are fine. Southampton, obviously, also good. But I think Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, I can see them all doing well. And then Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City. So the Nottingham Forest defense might be overlooked. I think there's better options at the moment. And most people probably are going a kind of a Trent, a Gabriel, or an Arsenal defender, and then a Munoz. So I don't think I would get a Nottingham Forest defender before any of those. Start a new one, Semenyo or Robertson or João Pedro. I mean, Robertson could be nice, but I think he might be benched with Tsimikas. He came off the bench in the previous game. So I probably would just say João Pedro. I'm benching Wood and João Pedro for now. Starting Cole, Lewis, and Semenyo. Am I crazy? I don't think you're crazy, Vincent. I'd probably say Wood over Semenyo, though. That's kind of the most no-brainer move that I would look at. Which goalkeeper in? Got Muric second, covers Henderson well. Which goalkeeper in? Yeah, Henderson, if he rotates well, Henderson. In that cheaper bracket, it's Henderson or it's Pickford. If you want to stretch it, if you can get Allison, I would go for him instead because of the double game week coming up. But if you can only afford a cheaper option, then do it. I like your opinion on the Holland captain. Man City will get a result at some point. I'm thinking about, okay, that's like, I understand the differential appeal. I don't know if I'd go there now at the moment, Carlo. Like, I'd probably go for someone like a Saar instead of Bernardo Silva. But, I mean, if you think it's going to bang, then yeah, I don't think Man City are going to be terrible for the most time. And even if they concede, they might score a ton of goals, which might start winning them some more games. Sorry, let me just go back to these projected. I saw I was on the wrong slide. Last question, hits bench one of Colwell/Robinson. Need to start one of these. I'd go for Colwell, to be honest. You can just see the projected goals are higher for Chelsea. What happened to Capkin Gaming channel? Is he alright? He hasn't posted in a long time. I can go maybe send him a DM and see if he's fine. But yeah, thanks for bringing that to my attention. If Lewis is starting, is it better to just play him and rather than taking a hit? Yeah, I just play Lewis. If the only thing that will derail it is that if he is benched. So let me go and check Twitter for you. You guys can also let me know if you see anything on Twitter. Just because I'm not kind of checking chat and Twitter at the same time. Let's see. I don't see anything at the moment, John. Nothing at the moment, but maybe as the time does go on, if you guys are waiting for early team sheet news about a team like Chelsea, don't hold your breath because they play tomorrow. So I've seen a lot of people kind of waiting for Chelsea team news. I don't think we're going to be getting it. Karima saying Happy New Year, Happy New Year to you as well. Thoughts on Bruno to Luis Diaz? I think it's fine. I don't know if I go for Luis Diaz though. I think I might go for Saar or Eze. Just seems a little bit more profitable over the upcoming game weeks. And With Liverpool, I can understand bringing them in last week because they had Leicester, whereas now the good fixtures are still okay, but they're not as spectacular as kind of Leicester. So I would just instead go for Saar or Eze. They're more nailed and they have better fixtures. Tarang saying, so I basically got the same team as you, only difference is Odegaard says Bruno. My dilemma is now Odegaard, Semenyo, João Pedro. You said Odegaard over Semenyo. But what about, I'd go João Pedro over Semenyo because he's got penalties. Yeah, so I remember, Tarang, you must start on the Bruno move. So instead of Bruno, you got Odegaard. I just bench Semenyo this week then. Linus is saying, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope for Liverpool to win it all. What an absolute Hattie there, Linus. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Hopefully you have a Happy New Year as well. Francho is saying, good day, Sir Davey. Not sure if we covered these players, but who would you bench between Cobble, Van Dijk, Robinson, and Gabriel? P.S. Ivan Boomer at home against Gabriel. That is tough. Can you bench Boomer for another attacker? Do you have like an Enzo on your bench? But in terms of those defenders, I'd bench Robinson out of them. Saka for who? So if you're going to go for Saka this week, I think you can go like for like Odegaard. But I probably would go for one of Saar Eze this week, just because they've got good fixtures. Ashley saying, what do you make of the Palmer captain? I like the Palmer captain. I just feel like it's very close between Salah and Palmer. In terms of my team, if I can just show you my team quickly, I have Enzo Jackson as well. So I'm covering that Chelsea fixture if they do bang. I hope they bang. I'm just not hedging that fixture. I'm not saying I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I hope that Palmer absolutely destroys Ipswich. I'm saying I'm going to cover Liverpool slightly, but also as a Liverpool fan, I'm slightly more biased. I just hate watching them if I don't have Salah captain. So it's close between them. I don't think it's far enough on Palmer's side for me to risk the effective ownership, but I have mentioned that if I had Haaland, I might be tempted by him. So that's my current thoughts on those three players. But yeah, it's very close. Wouldn't be surprised if Palmer outscores Salah, but vice versa, for example. Carlo GG, welcome. Thank you for becoming a Legend member, even though this isn't your first Legend member. I don't exactly know the time frame. Do appreciate the continued support, though. And I can't believe I wasn't a Legend. Sorry, you've upgraded yourself. You've upgraded the membership. So you've gone from a member to a supporter to a Legend member. So do appreciate that, and congrats on the upgrade. Hopefully I do well. Not sure if you've seen my Discord team counters on suggestions. Unsure, thinking about doing Bruno to Saar and Timber to Trent from -4, or just play the Brentford second goalkeeper. Okay, so Brentford have a tougher game against Arsenal. Okay, but you don't, and I just play the Brentford second goalie. I don't like kind of -4s for goalkeepers. The Bowen to Saar move and the Timber to Trent move. The Timber to Trent move is okay. To be honest, I mean, Arsenal coverage to Liverpool coverage might seem a bit sideways, but because Trent is a double game week coming up, I like it. And also the Bowen to Saar move is fine. So for -4, I think that's okay, Northy. Start a Mud or Enzo. I'd start Enzo. And start Kirkes, Timber, or Colwell. I'd start Timber. Timber Colwell's close, but I think that you just go for Timber because of attacking threat. What's the transfer that's logged on? Happy New Year. The transfer at the moment, I'll go through it, is either Munoz in or Bruno out. I'm just kind of deciding between the two. It's tough for me. Vincent, I should be a Legend member too. You should, Vincent, and you should buy it yourself. I'll try and find enough change around the house to buy you a Legend membership, Vincent. Like a day for footy, yeah, it is. Would you swap Fleck into Henderson plus Matoma to Saar for free? I like those transfers, to be honest. I think so. Who's your second goalkeeper, though? If it's the Brentford goalkeeper, you could always just roll, but I like those two moves. So Desha saying, this is the game week. We mark our comeback. Yeah, exactly. It's past... Actually, it's the halfway point. So from now till game week 38, it's only going to be green arrows. Let's see if that lasts. Salah's asking a question. Need a bit of help, please. Foden or Saar in for free. Also need to start 2 from Robinson, Rico Lewis, Ahmad, João Pedro. So I always like to play my attackers more, but I would go for Rico and João Pedro. And in terms of Foden, Saar, that's very close. If the safer option, I mean, even if Saar is not super safe, but out of those two, Saar's the safer option, but I do like the Foden punt. If you can afford him, then yeah. Okay, Robbo, I'd go for those moves then. If your two keepers are injured, now the thing about Flecken is that he might actually be okay. It didn't look like a major injury, so because Brentford only play Wednesday, Flecken might recover, but obviously we won't get that news before the deadline. So I can understand if you guys do want to make a switch. For example, Abishek is saying, have Fabianski and Flecken best goalkeeper replacements. It's expensive Alisson or cheap Henderson. Pickford's also in there, but between Alisson and Henderson, you guys have your price points. It just depends on how much money you guys have. Actually, also want to post a poll here. Sorry, I didn't say that. Who is your captain? Let's see where the captaincy is lying this week. So I'm pretty sure Salah will be in the number one, but I mean, Palmer's also pretty okay, as well as Haaland. So let's go and then we'll go other. So I've got the captaincy poll. Sorry it's so late, but at least we'll get you active viewers. You guys can vote on that poll. Ryan11 is saying, hi Davey, I've got Gabriel, Trent, Cole and Robinson. I've got one free transfer and 1.8. Would you put Munaz in for Cole? No, I just play Cole. I'd bench Robinson and play Cole. I don't think you have to make a transfer there. Frau Broer, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Bench 1, Trent, Gabriel, Timber, Castagna, João Pedro, Rogers. Bench 1 of those. Yo, that is quite close. Oh, bench 1. Oh, sorry, I thought you meant start 1. I would bench Castagna. That's what I would do. I'd hedge the Arsenal clean sheet and I'd bench Castagna out of those. AEMXST, thank you for becoming a legend member for 8 months. Happy New Year, Davey. Do I take out Bruno this week from -4 or just bench him? And if I take him out for who? Okay, so AEMX, just tell me who you are benching if you replace Bruno, because that'll decide if it's worth a -4. If you bring on someone that doesn't even feature, I would take the -4. And you can go for Odegaard set replacement, or I would probably take a punt on Saar or Eze. What games do you see yourself getting value from Bruno? Also, your screen is slightly off to the right. Which screen is slightly off to the right? Sorry. Is it me? Sorry, just let me know what you mean there, Jason. And in terms of Bruno, it's probably the Southampton game after the Liverpool one. And also, he's just one of those players where you could kind of do. I don't have a bench. It's Kluivert. He is not playing well, and Greaves. Okay, then you can replace. I would say, yeah, either Odegaard or Saar. If it was me, I probably would go Saar or Eze. Blessed replacement for Bruno Omar. You're also asking, it's Odegaard to set and forget. Also like Gordon, I'm going to throw Gordon in there. But I would probably say, because of Southampton, I would look at Saar or Eze. The team screen for me. Okay, Jason, just make sure that I think that you're a little bit behind. So hopefully you catch up to the stream because, yeah, sorry, I was just showing my my team. Yeah, if I go to my team, it is a bit to the right. Sorry, but it's because I was just on this screen. Okay, but we're nearly at halfway, and then I'll talk about my moves. Bench 1, Isaac, Luis Diaz, Enzo, João Pedro, Semenyo. I'd go Semenyo, Akash. Nicholas Jackson to Isaac this week or wait? I'd wait, unless we get news about that. Made an early transfer, which was a mistake. Did Muniz for Timber and Flecken got injured. So Flecken decides from -4. Good luck. Okay, who's your backup goalkeeper? Is it Fabianski? Because then I can say, okay, do a -4. But if you have a backup, I would just play them. A hit for a goalkeeper is never great because you're basically saying they have to keep a clean sheet. But over a few game weeks, it might be okay. Bench 1, a Mud, Bowen or Pedro. I'd probably say a Mud. It's close between him and Bowen, but Liverpool have been conceding, so and I like Bowen more as a player. Which transfer is worth doing this week? Greaves out, Muniz in, or João Pedro out, Cunha in? Osama, I wouldn't do Cunha in. I would just keep him because he's going to be suspended probably pretty soon. I'd probably say next week he gets banned. If I have to do a prediction, I'll probably say next week he's banned. Okay, let me just go check. Okay, thanks, Vincent. Don't know if there's too much in that, though. I mean, those Man City fixtures just look so good. I mean, Leicester away, West Ham home, Brentford away, Ipswich away. I mean, if Haaland doesn't bang over the next 4 weeks, I don't even understand. Okay, so let's go over my team selection. Okay, so let me just adjust this so that you guys can see the entire team. Okay, cool. So you guys should be able to see the entire team there. And now let's go over to the transfer page. Okay, still looking okay. So the moves I'm looking to potentially make, the first one is Dalot out for Munoz. Just think he's a great player. Got a bit of XG involvement. You guys can see here, looks okay. Only game he missed was the Arsenal one. I think he was suspended here though. So he's putting up pretty good kind of XG involvement numbers. So Munoz would come in. The only problem then is I'm benching Robinson. And Robinson has actually also been pretty decent. So that might be a little bit annoying to bench Robinson. He could still haul. But then at least I've got some bench coverage. Because at the moment I got Bruno's banned. And then I've got Greaves who has Chelsea. So even if Jackson misses out, for example, Enzo misses out, or some other player misses out, then at least Robinson will come off the bench. So that's the first move. The second move, though, is potentially taking Bruno out. And if I take Bruno out, I might just bench Semenyo or João Pedro. Just depends between those two who I think is worse. So Bruno out is also a selection. The player I would replace would probably be for Sarr. I like Eze, but I don't know. Between Sarr and Eze, I mean, I think Eze's been playing pretty bad at the moment. I mean, it's not the worst XG involvement, but not really what you want to see. So I'd probably go Sarr. This does give me enough funds to potentially look at some future moves. Maybe I could take out Semenyo, could go for Gordon. Yeah, Gordon 7.3, or what I could do is... I mean, João Pedro's Ipswich in game week 21. I could also take out João Pedro and maybe go for Mateta. This is obviously not this week. This would be in the future. Maybe not game week 20, game week 21, when they have Leicester, West Ham, Brentford. So that gives me some flexibility if I do take out Bruno. But, I mean, I could also just keep Bruno and then have him for this Southampton game at home. Fixtures after that aren't the worst in the world, but they're definitely not kind of the best. I guess I could also go for Odegaard, but I think I'd rather punt on Sarr against Southampton this week and then the good fixtures after Chelsea. So that's my current thinking at the moment. You guys can let me know what you think about those two moves. But yeah, that's my current transfer plan. Either Munoz in for Dalot and then benching Robinson, or Bruno out for Sarr and then benching either Semenyo or João Pedro. So those are the two transfers. In terms of the Camsey poll, we've got a heavy swaying vote towards Salah at 78%. Palmer is 14%, Haaland 7%, and others 2%. So very, very hectic. Actually, I'd go for Henderson. Sanchez might even be rotated. That's the worry. Munoz's move looks better. Okay, Munoz says Dazo King as well as Abu. Everyone's saying Munoz. Okay. I think it's better to just roll this week, have two transfers next week, Vincent. Yeah, I agree. I'm just scared of rotation. I don't know why. Thinking about both Sarr or... No, I would get Sarr probably in 2 weeks' time for Semenyo. I'd use the funds I would get from the Dalot to Munoz move. Would you start a Mud or João Pedro? I'd probably go João Pedro. Robinson or Lewis? Kentaro, I would go for Lewis. Unless we get news that he's benched. But at the moment, I don't see anything. Robinson or Hall? Okay, let's check here. Newcastle 21%, Fulham 24%. I'd probably go Robinson for the home fixture. Who would you bench between Hall, Jackson, or Enzo? I'd bench Hall. Vince, I always favor the attackers when it's a benching dilemma. Will Luis Diaz play? I can't say exactly, but I would probably expect it after him being benched on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Start Luis Diaz or Robinson? Luis Diaz, definitely Roberto. Even if he doesn't play, he could come off the bench and score. Play Wood, Pedro, or Lewis Hall? I'd go for Wood. Play Rodgers or Matoma? Brighton have Aston Villa. I don't know why I checked that. I know I've got João Pedro. So Rodgers versus... I'd play Rodgers. You can see he's got 1.8 compared to Brighton's 1.3. Iwobi question mark? He's okay. Actually, that reminds me. Let's do a wildcard draft quickly for those of you guys on the chip. So let's just keep Fabianski. The position doesn't really matter. You guys can go for another option that you want to. I just go for a cheap goalkeeper. I keep Robinson. Let's take out Greaves. Go for Mikalenko. Keep Trent. Take out the lot. I'd go for Timber then. I don't think I'd go for Semenyo. I don't think I'd go for Bruno. I'd go for Saar. Who else could we also look at? Can we go for Gordon here? Don't know if I'd go for... do you go for Isaac? Let me just see. I made a wildcard draft, I swear. Okay, so there must have been some price rises last night. So I've got 0.1 that I can't afford. So then maybe what I would do is instead of going for... Robinson also has good fixtures. Actually, here you're going to be starting Timber, Trent, Gabriel most weeks, hey. So it seems like a bit of a waste. Let's just put Muniz there for now. So I can just afford this team. Unfortunately, though, the rotation here is going to be pretty insane, I think. But this is the foundation of the team I would go for on wildcard. If you need money, I'd downgrade Mikalenko to like Greaves. That gives you 0.4. And if you need extra value, I would just take out maybe Timber or Gabriel and go for Robinson. This is currently what I would probably look at. There's variations, obviously. Instead of Gordon, you can go for Foden. Instead of going for Wood, you go for a cheaper option, more expensive option. But I think at the moment, this is probably what I would do. I think I like the look of this. So yeah, if you guys are on a wild card, just screenshot, and then we can potentially look at this. That could happen, Vincent, but then maybe he's benched for the whole game. Who kind of knows? But yeah, obviously there might be some rotation this week. It's going to be expected probably. Sorry for this question. What is the effective ownership? Palmer and Salah are both 80. No. So what I would say is I think Salah will be like 180%. Obviously within the top 10K. I think 180, 190%. And I'd probably say Palmer around 110, 120. So... no matter who you captain, you're going to hope the other blanks. That's almost a certainty this week, I'd say. Yes, I'd start Wood over João Pedro this week, probably, yeah. Okay, so we've got 20 minutes to go. Let's go check Twitter again. Okay, so no team sheet news. Apparently, though, there might be Patreon. So if you guys subscribe to Patreon, there might be leaks. But unfortunately, I don't subscribe to Patreon. We'll probably get early team sheet news, though, like just before the deadline, maybe. What do you guys think of captaining Palmer over Salah, though? That's an interesting debate. No worries, Patrick. Thanks for dropping by. Start Semenyo or Pedro. Rough raise, I'd go for Pedro just for penalties. Maresca news indicates lots of rotation, puts Palmer captaincy at risk, so Salah's a safer bet. Abhishek, that's also a good point. The only thing for me, and I don't know if you Chelsea fans agree, is that Chelsea are looking for a rebound at the moment. The fixtures haven't been, or the results haven't been that great. So I kind of feel like this is a good game to go heavy, and then we potentially rotate later. When is the next game for Chelsea? Is it this midweek? Okay, no, so from now till then, it's going to be a little bit of a gap. Yeah, so maybe there could be rotation. I mean, it is the time for it, probably, in terms of the timeline. But I would say I think they go a little bit stronger, just hopefully for the sake of getting a result. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty set on going for Salah. Just for me, it's like, obviously with Palmer, Enzo, Jackson, I'm hoping that Chelsea do well. So why not just hedge Palmer captain as well? But, you know, as a Liverpool fan, don't want to watch them without playing. Would you start Odegaard or Enzo? Probably Odegaard. I mean, I think you kind of have to play Odegaard over Enzo. Unless you have massive courage, D1. Start Enzo, Semenyo, Odegaard. Thanks, David. Gareth, I'd start Odegaard. It's Odegaard's Enzo, Semenyo in that order. It's just, yeah, I don't think you can bench Odegaard against Brentford if he has set pieces, penalties, that sort of thing. Mateta or Nicholas Jackson? I'd probably say Mateta because Nicholas Jackson might be rotated. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing. I want to go towards Haaland for captain. Actually, I'm not going to advise you to, but I think if it was my team, I'd be tempted. But yeah, I can't tell you to go for Haaland because of how trash he's been. But I can understand it. Let's just say that I can understand why you're considering it. Cunha punt captain against Spurs, weak defense, Cookie Monster. You can't mention Cunha in this chat anymore. After selling him last week for 12 points, I think I'm going to ban the word Cunha in the chat. But no, I don't think I'd captain him, but I think he's a great asset to hold this week. As you've said, defensive frailties, I would expect another haul, to be honest. But yeah, just in terms of consistency, I might not go for it. I've gone Jackson to Isaac, Harry Butt. I hope Jackson scores a Hattie this week, but I can understand the transfer. Would you start one, Robinson, Rodgers, or Pedro? I'd probably go Rodgers, Gary. I always favor attackers in the benching dilemmas. Would you start Aina or Robinson? Let's see projected clean sheets. Okay, Nottingham Forest, 32%. I'd probably go Aina. Sorry, I just saw they have Everton, and that's why I would start them. What is our New Year's resolution? The man, the myth, the legend. Our New Year's resolution is to only get green arrows. That's the New Year's resolution. Worth tripling up on Palace attack is yeah, I think that's okay, Thomas. I'm a fixture sort of FPL manager, so they've got great fixtures, so might as well. Greaves to Munoz, then bench Miko or Pedro, or Flecken to Allison. Do have Robert. Let me just think for a second. I like the Flecken to Allison move. It's safer, Robert. It's basically more conservative. Would you do Jackson to Isaac for -4? No, Mohammed, I wouldn't. That's also, but I have a feeling it'll fail after cut. No, Paulie, we're gonna hold this. We have to stick to our New Year's resolutions. Too many people give up after 2 weeks. We are going to be getting green arrows from now to the end of the season. I can feel it. I wonder what actually would happen if we did. Like, what's the maths now? If I took the average of a green arrows sort of rise and rank, would that mean we win FPL? Probably not, but imagine just getting a 1 place green arrow till game week 38. That would be terrible. How, David, would you start Hall or Ahmad? That's a tough one. I always favor the attacker, though, a base, so I'd probably go Ahmad. Semenyo or Bowen to start. If you have Trent, Islam, I'd go for Semenyo. I'd hedge whoever you have in your defense. It's the same with like benching Mbumo. If you have Raya and Gabriel, I would bench Mbumo because I would hope that Arsenal keep a clean sheet. Why would anyone triple up on Chelsea? It's because of the fixtures. That's why. So let's see what Ipswich happens this week. Palmer captain, says Kylo. Don't know if I trust Chelsea enough to do that. I can't make my decisions. I may still be writing after deadline time's up. Vincent, let me answer your questions then. I will decide what you do then this week. I think that you should bench Salah and captain Flecken and vice captain Vlad, the backup. I've got Flecken and Fabianski who to move for Pickford or Henderson. I'd go Henderson probably. Better fixtures for the short term. You don't know when you're going to use the wild card as well. Yeah, I'd probably gamble as long as you don't have any fires to put out and your replacement is injured as well. For example, if Fabianski's out, then it's okay to do it. If you don't trust Chelsea, no, but you see, it's not that I don't trust Chelsea to score. It's I don't trust Palmer to outscore Salah. That's what I don't trust. Enzo or Luis Diaz, probably Luis Diaz. Daniel Jackson brace this weekend. There's the spirit, Daniel. Now we're getting some good chat comments, finally. This is what I've been waiting for. James said, Merry Xmas, would you start Raul Jimenez or Rodgers? Probably Rodgers for the rotation with Jimenez. Did Jimenez start the last one? I think he started and then Munoz came off and scored, right? So I'd probably say Munoz starts this one. Bench Enzo or Raul? I'd bench Raul. Enzo, Semenyo to start. Probably go Enzo, hedge the fixture. 14 minutes left. Okay, thank you for the reminder. Let me check Twitter once more. A lot of people going for Eze this week, it seems. Yeah, so that's all I see at the moment. But let me lock in this transfer quick. I think we do. Yeah, Joe, okay, thanks. I think I'm going to do the Munoz move this week. I think that's probably what I'm gonna do, and then hope that Semenyo scores. So let's take out Dalot and let's bring in Munoz. I like the flexibility this gives me next week. It gives me a bit of a benching dilemma in terms of my defense sometimes, but I think it's okay. I think let's just see what kind of happens with it. I'm going to make this transfer a lot to Munoz. I'm going to confirm it, and then I'm going to start Munoz over Robinson. Do we start Bruno instead of someone else? Do we start Bruno over Semenyo? Because Semenyo only gets points on our bench. We're gonna do the 3D chess here. So Semenyo only scores on our bench. So we're gonna bench him this week. I think that's what we do. No, Carlo, I'm not gonna be vice captaining. I'm not gonna vice captain Bruno, and then something happens in Liverpool and suddenly Salah doesn't play. Do I start Robinson or Lewis? I'd start Lewis unless we get news that he's benched. Do I do Bruno to start instead of Bowen to Saar and Timber to Trent so I can have a 3-5-2 instead of a 4-4-2? No, I'd probably... Do you want Bowen for the future? Like, what fixtures do West Ham have? Let me just check quickly for you. No, I'd sell Bowen, to be honest. I think sell Bowen, keep Bruno if you can afford to do that, because then you might want Bruno in the medium term. So it makes more sense to get rid of a player that you don't want. Let me just post this to the Discord server quick. And then just post, play Johnson or Rodgers. I don't know about that Spurs lineup, so I'd probably just go for Rodgers. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but recently there's been rotation within those forward positions. Let's just hope that Semenyo does okay. As I said, he always scores on my bench, so be it. Do you think Jackson will start? Real Madrid, I hope he does, to be honest. I'm a bit scared, I won't lie to you. But I think it should be okay. Let's just hope it is okay. Okay, just beware of fake team news. Probably something coming up. But yeah, as I've said, you guys that own Cunha this week, I hope he blanks, but I can't see it. That Spurs defense is just too... Okay, apparently Foden might start. Just beware of fake team sheet news. That's all I'm saying. Okay, cool. Let's do some quick fire for the last 9 minutes. My team is pretty set, guys. If you are late to the stream, I've done the lot out. Finally the lot out. One less Manchester United player in my team. Just blessings. And I've brought in Munoz, and I've started Munoz over Robinson. If you don't have enough money for Munoz, then I would just roll the transfer. If you don't have enough money for him, just roll. Robinson's a perfect replacement. He's okay. Bit scared of benching him. Why the faith on João Pedro? It's the festive period. 7th chances are on the cards. I don't know. Maybe gets a penalty and scores. But yeah, I'm losing faith in them. But I mean, I'm not going to take a hit to take him out with. And I can't even go for someone like a Mateta at the moment. That new Wolves manager's goated. Let's just hope that he's benches Cunha because he thinks he's going to get banned or something. I don't know. In Mbeumo or Pedro, I'd go Pedro because you probably own Arsenal defenders. Fernandes, Christian, yes. Bruno Fernandes is shocking. But yeah. Do you think Luis Diaz will start? Percy, I think that he will after being benched. I think Jota will be in the starting 11. What was the team? It was Darwin, Gakpo, wasn't it? So I think it's going to be Jota, Luis Diaz this week. Start João Pedro or Robinson. I always go for the attacker, Akash. Are we expecting Valdemasson to start if Flecken is out? Yes, Moses. So what you can do is just play your 2. If Flecken's back from injury, he starts. Excuse me, otherwise he has the backup. Have a feeling Semenyo will haul. No, but that's only because I'm literally benching him. Unlike that. Okay, so you're actually benching him, Tarang. So I'm also actually benching him. You know. Why Semenyo ahead of Robinson on the bench? Because I mean, fair point, but I always play the attacker. But if you think that Fulham have a better chance of a clean sheet, you can also go for that. Travel Fish, I didn't watch the cricket earlier. I was playing paddle, so I didn't watch it. But I saw we won, so that's pretty good. I watched day 1 and day 2. Play 3, bench 2. Castagna, Mikalenko, Rogers, Matoma. I'd bench Mikalenko and Castagna. I'd play all the attackers. Suggest the bench order. Semenyo, Robinson, Greaves. Akash, exactly what I have at the moment. Raya in from -4. No, but Allison in from -4. Can you do that instead, Samir? Because he has a double gaming coming up. Craig saying Davey Semenyo to start from -4. I think I might do that. Are you priced out if one rises? But I think I might do that as a punt. Robinson or Rogers on the bench? I'd bench Robinson. Actually, that like Semenyo Robinson debate, I'm just thinking about that now. Do you think Gakpo will start? I don't think so. Ma, I used to be top tier like you, bringing the Skyrim reference. It's like my favorite game, so I'll take it. João Pedro or Mbeumo? I'd go João Pedro. Jag Singh, sorry, I couldn't read your message before you retracted it. Start Rogers or Semenyo? I'd go Rogers. -4 to get rid of Fleck and Mario. I think I would probably do that unless your second keeper is going to be starting. So if you have the backup Brentford goalie, if you have someone else, I would just stick with them. Why is Bruno not on the bench? Because Semenyo only scores on my bench. That's why. Okay, got Allison. Good transfer. That's I can agree with that. Palmer captain says Northy. Okay, good luck. Go for it. I'm hoping Palmer's effective ownership isn't too high, so I can cheer him on. If he assists Enzo and Jackson, though, I've got no problem there. I have no problem with that. So Northy, as long as you agree with that, I think he's going to get a haul. Mbeumo or Semenyo out for Saar. I would probably say Semenyo. If you can afford to take out Semenyo, I'd rather go for him. Does Raul Jimenez start? He might not. It's very close between them. Personally, I think they'd maybe not. But will it still work knowing Semenyo? I don't know, Paulie, but we're not going to think too much about it. Gabriel to Saliba. No, don't do that, 80k. It's very sideways. Davy is actually the Sheldon Cooper. Is that a compliment, or am I that awkward in social situations? But I know where you're coming from, Kylo. Thank you. Which two would you start from, Semenyo, Mbeumo, or Robinson? I'd say Semenyo and Robinson. I'd probably bench Mbeumo, Michael. You probably own a double up in the Arsenal defense, or at least one. I'd play the odds. Samir, thank you for the £1 super chat. Do appreciate it. I've also given you a like there. Navina saying, if you could let us know the Campsy points projections between Salah. Okay, projections. Let me check here for you. I will check 2 sites for your projections. Okay, sites are a bit slow, but let's go over the projections. Okay. Fix has it as 7.2 for Salah and 7.1 for Palmer. So 0.1 difference. And Review has it as 7.6 for Palmer, 7.4 for Salah. So Fix has a 0.1 difference in favor of Salah, and Review has 0.2 difference in favor of Palmer. So if you take the average there, 0.1 in favor of Palmer. But I mean, you guys can understand now why it's so close. It's literally ridiculous. Okay, I don't see anything. So I don't see any early team sheet news for you guys, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't see anything at the moment. Last question, Mbeumo or Ahmad? I'd probably just go Ahmad, Mohammed. Like, as I said, I'm basically hedging that you have Arsenal coverage, defensive coverage. Also, Ahmad saying, have you bench one, Lewis, Rogers, or Cunha? If you choose, should I get Munoz and bench Rogers? No, I would bench Lewis and I just play Rogers and Cunha in that situation. Ahmad, and just keep Lewis on the bench. Semenyo or Luis Diaz? Luis Diaz, Roberto. Sell Guardiola for Munoz? No, start Guardiola this week, Aaron. Start Anderson or Mbeumo? I'd go for the attacker. Just go for Mbeumo. Unless you have like triple up on the Arsenal defense and you hope they keep a clean sheet. Semenyo for João Pedro. I'd play João Pedro over Semenyo because of the penalties. 1 minute left, guys. That is true. Actually, it's probably seconds left. 40 seconds left till TUPD time. Get those loaded up. Kirkes or Robinson? I'd go for Robinson, John. Good luck, everybody, says Sadesh. Getting it nice and early, Sadesh. Visa to Jesus or Roll? Can you do Visa to Mateta? Then I would do it. But otherwise, do you have to start Visa? Otherwise, Jesus is okay, but he's on 4 yellow cards, I think. João Pedro, Lewis Hall, whom to start? I'd go for João Pedro. Brentford has the best home record, 100% they score against Arsenal. Gabriel is useless this week, says Charles. But it is the Arsenal defense, though. No worries. Porra or Semenyo? I'd go for Semenyo. So Darth has left it on the actual deadline. Good luck and have a great New Year's, everyone, says Siddharth. 34 months as a legend member. Thank you so much. I'm a bit like upset that you didn't fit in the TUPD into the super chat, Siddharth, but you had a better message. So hearts for Siddharth for saying Happy New Year, and that is actually going to be the deadline, as you guys can see from the TUPD time. Time is up, and therefore Game Week 19 has closed. And between now and Game Week 20 is going to be New Year's. So I hope that you guys have a blessed New Year's. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which is start Semenyo this week. I'm hoping for a green arrow, but let's see how it goes. How do you extend the membership? I think you get a notification when your membership for the month is done. I think that's basically that. But I'm going to let you guys get back to your Sunday. Thank you so much for joining me. As I said, have a great New Year's, guys. Hopefully Game Week 20 is going to be a green arrow, and it's always going to be in our favor. But for the time being, I'm going to sign off. It's been Davey FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.